Welcome one, welcome all to the third episode of the Pacific Perspectives podcast. I am your host, Nux Memes, and I am, as always, joined by...
Kyler Mimamoto. Why'd you say welcome one, welcome all? You're not a medieval town crier.
I do what I
Anyways,
want.
we're gonna get into it. We got lots to talk about, and only a very short amount of time to talk about it. So oh man, it's gonna be good. I am
47 minutes is a good amount of time.
47 minutes, maybe even less. All right, so I want to talk about Zach Hyman right now, and I think you're gonna be happy I'm talking about this. Zach Hyman. Before last year, when he scored like 54, whatever it was, 54, 56 goals, I don't even know. It was a stupid amount. Half of them, and people, the haters were right with Hyman. McDavid would literally shoot it at the net, and Hyman would just stand in front, and it would just go off of him. Whether it was a stick or not, he would get the goal. But the year before that, he got like 28 goals, I think, 29, not even 30. And that was like appropriate, but he was scoring way under expected. And then they all kind of came back, and the regression came back in 1 year. But now, I think he's going to go back to, before the year I said like 35-40. I think we're going back to 25-30. Not only has he genuinely played much worse, he's doing the thing again where he doesn't lift the puck. He's looking like Gretzky out there, and not in a good way. He is Mario Lemieux of 1986. He can only get it right through the goalie's pad, except there's no stand-up goalies left, so it's not going to work. Frankly, I'm a little disappointed because I thought, 40 is not out of the question still. It was a fluke. Obviously, everyone knew that, even the most diehard Oilers fans. Nobody expected him to score 55 again. That's not happening. But, man, he's genuinely played bad. It's not even a shooting lull. He's, actually playing bad. Anyways, you wanted to talk about Kiefer Sherwood?
Daddy's money. Well, yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things to talk about with the Canucks because we've had a very, very solid stretch here. We've won 4 in a row now. The last one was last night against Pittsburgh, where we scored 3 times in 65 seconds. That was beautiful. I want to recreate my reaction when Kiefer Sherwood scored. And this is not an exaggeration. This is what happened. Basically, it was a 2-on-1, Bluger-Sherwood. They were coming down, and I was holding my breath because I'm like, oh, is he going to pass it to Sherwood? Is Sherwood going to score? And then he did, and I'm hoping this gets picked up over the mic. I'm gonna push it away from me, so maybe it will. My reaction was basically as follows. I'm not kidding either. That is exactly what I did.
You just screamed like a baby in the store, just
pretty
looking for his
much.
mom.
I mean, listen, I picked up Sherwood in fantasy before the season even started, and I think that was the greatest move of my life because he's averaging 4.0. He's averaging more than McDavid.
No Canucks bias from you aside, that is the best fantasy pickup on the waiver wire in a 20-man league. I think that is genuinely the best pickup anyone possibly could have made by now. The guy who picked him up in my league is 3-0.
I honestly think that he's averaging the most points in our league of any Canuck. I think the only one who would be close, I feel, would be Hughes, and I don't think Hughes is there.
Because Pedersen and Miller and Hughes are all not really producing like crazy. So
I don't know. I mean, Miller and Hughes are both point per game, so yeah, Miller's at 3.7, Hughes is at 3.5, and Besser is at 3.7. So yeah, he's actually averaging the most of any Canuck besides Lankinen. That's quite funny.
Damn. Wow. And yeah, Lankinen makes sense. Even in our scoring.
So that doesn't really count.
Garbage. Yeah, that doesn't really count. It's a goalie. And obviously
he gets 4 for a win, and he's won so many times now.
He's probably not going to continue to get those starts, anyways, when Demko comes back. Which, by the way, when is that?
I don't even know, man. I think it's mid-November, maybe late November. I'm hoping they give him as much time as he needs. Because obviously we're good with Hoyer.
Yeah, they obviously don't really need him in order to at least make the playoffs. I think to win the division, they'd probably need him, the ability to steal some games.
Probably, yeah. But We're good. We're good for now. 4 game win streak. We're rolling. Team's coming together. Pedersen scored yesterday. He scored a snipe too. It was beautiful.
You know what? If the Oilers did not get completely goalied by Frederik Andersen and did not defeat themselves against the Hurricanes, yeah, it actually losing that game in overtime did not really hurt me that bad. I was there. It went in, and I was like, ah, I felt bad for a second, and then I was like, it was a good game. We played good. It's like two top contenders in each conference. Like, you're going to eventually lose the game. And then I'm leaving the game, and I hear, oh, the Oilers, they got to put me in the net. Skinner blew it again. Bouchard gave it. It's not that. There was a guy when I was leaving the game, and people were pretty silent. It was not, let's go, we want the cup. No, I'm walking to the parking spot, which is at McEwen University for the people who are in Edmonton. Walking down that roadway, and there's a guy, big, fat, rotund dude, and he's on the phone, and he's like, they goddamn Oilers, they lost it again, and it's so funny, because it's like, this guy has been watching for 30 years, and he, like, calm down, you lost a game, and I'm serious, he was on the phone. My mom said, I don't think there is anybody on the phone. I think he's just letting his mind out. It was hilarious, but there's so many people like that. I feel, is it especially in Edmonton or especially in Canadian markets where the sky is always falling despite they played good against a good opponent, and I don't know what happens.
It's definitely especially Canadian markets. Like the Leafs fans have already thrown a jersey on the ice.
Oh, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Like
they're at 500. They're fine.
That makes no sense to me. You throw okay, Oilers fans, and they're pretty bad for throwing jerseys. They didn't even throw a jersey when we were on that 2-9-1 bout. I think maybe there was one, but I don't really recall it. It's just, man, they're not even playing that awful. They're just going through a bad stretch. That's not a reason to throw a jersey. Come on, that's $300.
A Canucks fan threw a Horvat jersey when we started 0-5-2. It was somewhere in that stretch, and I don't condone ever throwing a jersey, but we definitely don't do it as consistently as Leafs fans do. Leafs fans are a different breed.
I haven't seen it with Canucks fans that often. Maybe y'all are more respectful. Have the Senators ever done it? I feel like they're the ones that probably have the most reason to do that.
Yeah, but who cares?
True, nobody
cares
about them.
Senators fans are just so nothing. I go to 2 Canucks games per year in person. It's the one in Ottawa and the one in Montreal. And when I'm in Ottawa, I'm sitting in the lower bowl, and I'm surrounded by Canucks fans, and I'm absolutely just being an
it's a Canucks game
around the Sens fans, because I know they don't care. There was a time in the game the past season where Chychrun took a tripping penalty, and they were reviewing it, and all the Sens fans were like, that's not a penalty. They were all booing and stuff, and it was called a penalty. And when he went to the box, once play started going, I just started chanting, "You can't do that." Nobody. I was fine with it because nobody around me was going to do anything, because Sens fans just don't care enough. When I go to the Bell Center, I am terrified. I'm terrified to stand up and cheer because I think I'm going to get punched in the head.
Dude, those French people, oh my goodness. And they don't play about their hockey. They don't play about their hockey.
I respect it.
Moving on. Speaking of the Oilers and Canucks, I wanted to talk about the Penguins. Actually, are the Penguins finished?
They have been. They're not good. They're not a good team. They have so many holes.
It's weird. I was talking to I forget exactly what Penguins account it was, but one of the very popular ones. Not Panos. Not Panos.
You just said talking to
This is editing, Xavier. We went on laughing for 10 minutes about this for some reason, but he made me cut it out. A couple months ago, he commented on my post about how I thought the Penguins are going to make the playoffs. It was like a tier list or whatever, and I had them in the playoffs, like an idiot. And I said, their top 6 was good last year. Their top pair defense was great. Jari was actually pretty decent. He was top 20 and goal save above expected. He wasn't bad. I said the problems with their team were bottom six sucks, second pair wasn't good, and they just couldn't finish. Now, are you cutting your hair?
Just keep talking.
He just pulled out scissors and are you gonna, if you look at the camera, you're gonna cut your finger off. Anyways, they fixed their bottom six. Puljärvi, Eller, they're amazing. They like they genuinely have a very good bottom six. I think Eller's like a point per game. Like it's stupid. They got a little bit younger with McGroarty, and why would Crosby fall off? Malkin, he fell off a little bit, but he has a lot more to give. Malkin actually got better this year. Their bottom six is scoring, and they're worse than last year. It's like, I don't know. I want to believe in them, but I don't think they're even going to make the playoffs anymore. I was of the belief that they were going to, and
you had them in like the conference finals.
They're on paper, that is a good team. There's no part of that team that is like actually really bad if you look at the numbers. You can think, oh well, Johnny's not very good, but he has had consistently good performances. He just sometimes has really, really bad games. Like that happens with Marc-Andre Fleury, and they won a cup with him. So, but now Crosby's fallen off. He actually doesn't have as good numbers as last year. Malkin's on a complete heater. Doesn't matter. They're 3-6-1. Their bottom six is scoring. Doesn't matter. Their goalie lets in everything. Even Blomqvist, who has been good, he has a 850 save percentage. Like, it's not good. And that's their best goalie so far. Nedeljkovic isn't good. I think they're last in expected goals against per game. Like, it's awful. Their defense has just been a wash. The bottom pair, garbage. What are your thoughts on the Penguins?
I always thought they were bad. I mean, I thought they might be good last year because they have the power of friendship. Like when they added Carlson, I was like, oh, this is going to be a fun little unk team.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Like the Lakers when they had like Russ and everything and Carmelo. It was an unk team. But they were bad last year, and I don't think they did anything to make themselves any better this season. So I don't know why you thought they were going to be good.
I just primarily because they did improve their bottom six. They did.
Okay. They still suck. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Your point is that,
but it
like,
doesn't
it's not
matter
that good.
because as soon as they made their bottom six decent, their top six just. I mean, if you look at the top six wingers, I can't believe I didn't imagine that before. But like Rust, Raquel, I don't know. They are. It seems that age has finally actually caught up with them. Like
they have Anthony Beauvillier playing with Sidney Crosby, and you thought they were going to the
yeah, that I maybe should have accounted for that. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, you think?
But anyways, moving on from my complete dumbassery here. Do you have a word to say on offside review? Because I do.
Just go. Just say it.
Okay, you know my stance by now. Offside review is one of the worst rules in the NHL. It's not needed. If you look at... Okay, this segment was ridiculously long. Like, I think I actually talked for 10 minutes with no interruption. You can see he's just sleeping now. It wouldn't be interesting to let you guys hear that. So, to summarize, offside review is stupid because it takes goals away and we can't review other missed stoppages. Okay, bye. But anyways, it looks like JC is fully falling asleep here. So, we are going to move on. And I'm looking at the records in the Pacific right now. You know, the Canucks and Oilers are recovering from their bad starts. Vegas is roaring. Kings are doing a lot better than people expected them to do, even though they're technically 5-4. They're OTL merchants, just like the Islanders. Seattle's doing okay.
Kings have played? Like, look at who the Kings' wins are against. Hang on.
I know they're not actually doing good.
Let me pull it up here because this is ridiculous. They have won 5 games, and these wins are against Buffalo, Montreal,
Oh,
Anaheim,
oh,
San Jose, and Utah.
whoa! I didn't even notice that. That is perhaps the. And I watched them play. They, especially in their losses, they did not look good. They didn't even look like a hockey team. I don't know. They just.
Yeah, I mean that game against Ottawa that ended 8-7. What
I
even happened
I
there?
think that's a pretty good team to anticipate that they're not going to keep that record up. But on that note, quietly, San Jose is having just as bad of a start as last year. And I haven't. I saw one post on it this morning. They're 0-7-2, and they are minus 21 in goal differential. That means they're on
Uh,
pace for like minus 300. I
I
don't know if
say
that's
they do it.
accurate. I say they do it, but they only have to lose three more. They only have to lose three more games, and they'll have a worse start than last year because they went 1-10-1. I think they beat the Flyers for the first win last year, right?
Yeah, I think.
They just they got significantly better too. I mean,
I wouldn't
that's
say
not hard to do.
significantly, but they definitely looked a lot better. Like they got Wallman, which was an improvement. They got Toffoli and
They got
Celebrini and
Cody
Smith.
Cece.
They got
But
Cody
that's what I'm saying. They
CC.
they added a whole like decent second line in like Toffoli, Celebrini, Will Smith, and they got like a decent second pair in like Wallman and Cody Cece. Well, I wouldn't say decent second pair, but it's a second pair.
Aren't they deploying that as their first pair?
That might be why they're losing. In fact, I would say.
But yeah, I mean they look like they looked like they had better players than last year. I didn't think they would finish last in the league, but that is very much what we are looking at right now. And
And
now I'm scared. When do the Canucks face them? Because I don't want to be the team that gives them the first. Oh no, we play them kind of soon.
uh oh,
Hold the phone.
uh oh,
We play them on November 2nd.
oh no, that's next week. That is right around the corner. That could that could spell disaster.
We lost to them last year. We weren't the team that broke their streak because that when we had the opportunity to lose to them for the first time last year, we beat them 10-0 or 10-1.
Yeah, I do
But
remember
we
that.
lost them the game after that, and that was like right when they were going on their kind of like miracle run,
Yeah, the
where they were just
resurgence
winning
after
a
they
bunch
had
of
lost
games.
11 in a row.
Yeah, I'm scared now. I hope that they win before that November 2nd game because I'm terrified.
That kind of reminds me of last year when the Oilers were they were 2-8-1, and I was kind of hearing on the sidelines that Woodcroft was already fired. Or no, it was after that game, but they kept him along for the rest of the road trip just not to mess things up because they beat Seattle after they lost to the Sharks, and then they fired him, which I think is kind of funny. But I remember going into that Sharks game and just knowing I know they're going to lose this. That would be their second win, and I think they tied us for points. So we were tied for last place. They actually were only below us because of the goal differential in the Canucks game. That's the only reason. So somehow they saved us from the complete narrative. But man, you just could feel it going into that game that disaster was about to strike.
Yeah, I am now nervous, but they play in the next week. They play Utah, LA, and Chicago. So hopefully they get
Utah's
one.
kind of struggling.
They are, yeah. They got off to a flying start, and now that they've come back down to earth, it's like they had the adrenaline from being the new team. They had
Yeah.
something to play for, and now it's like, yeah, they kind of suck again. They've lost three in a row, 4-0 to Ottawa, 5-1 to Colorado, and
Ooh.
3-2 to LA.
Yeah.
And yeah, no,
They'll
it's not looking like we're getting playoffs in Utah, but we'll see. Maybe they can still turn it around
I don't
yet.
know. I really want them to turn around. I don't want. I mean, if hockey flops in Utah, it's ooh.
The issue is that they're at a 500 point percentage. They're fifth in the Central, and the two of the teams below them are Colorado and Nashville,
Oh
who
no.
are very likely going to catch up
Oh
to them.
no.
Minnesota's flying, Dallas is flying, Winnipeg's flying, St. Louis is mid.
Yeah. I wanted to ask about that. Do you? So I don't know why, but a lot of people coming into this year just assumed that the Wild were going to suck, and
Probably because
I
they
didn't really
sucked so bad
understand
last
that.
year and didn't really do that much in the offseason.
I mean, just they got healthy. That's really all they needed, and they have a young goalie that they haven't played. By the way, where's the Jesper Wallstedt start? We are fantasy owners. I need that. Um, but like, if you look at their lineup, it's damn good. It's damn good, especially even when it's not healthy. They're missing Jared Spurgeon right now, and their defense looks good. They have a lot of really young, good prospects. And you remember, they're doing this without like the extra 20 million in cap space from the Suter and the Zucker. Wait, is it Zucker? Who's the other?
Parise.
Parise, who's not even playing anymore. Those buyouts have absolutely crippled. It's kind of it's insane how they are probably genuinely a top 10 team, and they're just handicapped by like 25 million. It's crazy.
What the hell happened yesterday, though? How did they lose 7-5 to the Flyers?
It was my fault because I bet on that game. So,
What a weird game.
very strange game. I think the Flyers just they were due for a lot of goals is what happened.
I will say, my Hart Trophy prediction in episode 1 is not looking all that bad right now. Kirill Kaprizov
I was gonna
is
say.
second in the league in points. He's tied for second with Panarin, Makar, and Eichel. And first in the league is Mark Stone, who's going to get injured any day now.
Yeah, any
So-
day now. It's just gonna come. He's
So
playing way
my
too
Hart
good.
Trophy currently looking good, especially because the Wild are really good. Hopefully, I'm hoping he gets it, so I look really smart.
Although my Hellebuck prediction is also looking pretty good. So,
That is true.
but I
Maybe
feel
we're
like
geniuses, and nobody should ever doubt us ever.
exactly that's what I'm saying. We know everything at all points, and if you ever doubt us, you're wrong. Sorry. I think I'd probably give my heart vote to Kaprizov over Hellebuck right now, though, because the Jets are just genuinely playing good. Whereas with the Wild, the top line is absolutely cooking, and that's kind of won them a few games alone. So do you think the Jets are going to be a top 5 team again after
No.
the start?
No, they get off to hot starts, and then they kind of just die. If you look at the teams they've played, like being 8-0, no matter who you're playing, is very impressive. Like
Yeah.
you could play San Jose 8 times, and if you're 8-0 against them, that's still impressive. These are all big league hockey clubs, so I don't want to take away from the Jets, but they've beat Edmonton, who sucks. in
Terrible
October,
team.
Chicago, Minnesota. Fair enough. Minnesota's been good.
Yep.
San Jose, Pittsburgh, St. Louis, Seattle, Calgary. So really,
Yeah.
other than the Minnesota game, none of those are really moving me. But it is impressive that they've gotten all of them. That's impressive. I think that they're going to meet a tough time at some point. In November, they have a 6-game stretch, which is Colorado, Dallas, New York Rangers,
Oh.
Tampa Bay, Florida twice.
Yeah, we're gonna see the real Jets come out then. I think. I mean that all the PDO regression is gonna hit at once, and they're gonna lose every single one of those games 4-0. That would be very funny though.
All the respect to them. 8-0 start is good no matter who they're facing.
They are a better
just
team
don't
than I
think-
assumed. I gotta say.
They've pretty much already you can't say they've guaranteed themselves playoffs after 8 games, but they're going to be a playoff team, and the good start is going to be the reason for that. So I just think they're going to be a low impact playoff team, but we'll see.
Again.
Yeah,
People, it goes under the radar, but they are the quintessential. Besides the Leafs, they are the quintessential choke in the playoffs team. They are compared to the regular season accomplishments, especially compared to the Leafs or any other Canadian team. They have consistently underperformed every single time except for 2018.
but nobody
it's-
cares because they play in Winnipeg.
Exactly. Nobody notices. Nobody cares. Even the people in the locker room, it feels like they are not impacted by it. That's actually kind of funny. Another
What
team
do you
in
think
the
about Vegas currently?
I was just about to say that. Vegas, looking at the numbers, they're a better team than I thought. They are probably a playoff team at this point. But again, you look at who they've played, and you look at the performances of the goalies that they've played. I'm just going to be real. They're not going to play. They're not going to shoot 25% the rest of the year. I just call me an idiot. I don't think that's going to happen. So that top line, I don't think I've ever seen a shooting heater. I mean, actually, it does happen quite often. There's always one line that just goes ridiculous to start the year for like 20 games. They're obviously not going to keep that up, but Mark Stone is looking like a steal of the draft, at least in our league, because I think he went like 200th.
I'm so mad. I had him queued. I was going to take him with my next pick,
Same.
and then he got stolen.
Yep.
And now he has 17 points in how many games? Nine.
Almost
They
2
have
points per game.
7 guys. They currently have 7 guys who would be the Canucks' leading point scorer.
Yep.
Which is a little unfair because they have played 2 more games, but
it's true.
Tanner Pearson has 6 points. Where was that on Vancouver a couple seasons ago?
He does?
What happened to Tanner Pearson?
Oh my goodness. Maybe it's not just the top line.
Yeah, no, they're good. Like Mark Stone 17 points, Eichel 15, Barbashev 12, which like what
crazy?
Is he back
That's
to his
insane.
crazy like 60-point St. Louis season that came out of nowhere? And is he going to actually repeat that?
I guess he's legit.
Petrangelo 11, Hurdle
man.
10. Hurdle has been very good the past couple games. I have noticed because I have him in fantasy, and it is quite beautiful. Theodore 8 and Dorofeyev has 7. Why does Pavel Dorofeyev have 7 points?
Great fantasy pickup.
Why does he look like that?
he is a quirky fellow. He's got the he suffers from the actually no, I was gonna say the Evan Bouchard syndrome, but it's kind of the complete opposite.
Okay.
Where his eyes are too far apart.
But does he kind of look like Anya Taylor-Joy?
Oh my goodness. You're
He's
right.
kind of got the eyes.
You're right. He does. They're like too big and they're too far apart. Like looks like Sid the Sloth.
Revelation. Wait, Max Verstappen. Yo. He kind of I don't know if he looks like Max Verstappen, but he's kind of got the vibe. He looks like he could be a Verstappen cousin.
He has the facial structure. Yeah, he could be a cousin. He has the facial structure, I think.
I see it.
So
the Sloth genes.
Along with other teams, and it seems like it's just the teams in the West that are stupidly... Well, actually, to take a venture to the East, just pull up the division standings right now, and
I know where this is going.
Look at the Atlantic. Look at the Atlantic.
What is happening there? They were supposed to be the powerhouse, too, because they have 7 teams that want to compete for playoffs.
They all suck. They all suck.
Like, Tampa Bay is second in that division currently at 5-3.
I think I will say that the Senators have kind of brandished themselves as the third place team out of that group. They've clearly been better than the Sabres and Detroit.
No, they're falling off currently. I mean, it's not really saying much that they would be third, even if they are third. But like their game against Vegas, that was disgusting. That was awful.
That was really bad. But out of all those teams, I mean, Tampa's playing okay, but it's definitely not sustainable the way they're playing. It's kind of all offense. Although Vasi does seem to be back after that shutout. But Florida's the only team there that you could even come close to arguing is a top 5 team. Florida hasn't even played like elite. They've had some good games.
But they've been missing Barkov and Kachuk, so like I feel like
that too. Actually, they do have definitely have more to give.
Yeah, I mean it feels like they have the Atlantic wrapped up already.
Yeah,
none of these guys know how to play hockey besides them.
Like they're 6-3-1 without 2 of their top players. 2 of their top 2 players, I might add.
It does look like the division's ass, but it looks like it's going to be competitive, and that's quite fun. Like, Okay, Montreal isn't going to do anything.
No.
They're screwed already.
We knew that.
I don't know why. Okay. Before I go off on my Montreal tangent, I'm going to talk about the rest. Everybody else is at least at 500, but like it goes from a 500-point percentage to a 625 from 7th to 2nd. It's like, what is happening in this division? Why is everybody so close right now? I think it's going to be quite fun to see who gets the other 2 division spots.
You know, people said there was going to be good and fun, but I think only one of those predictions is going to come true. Personally, I think because Buffalo has really bounced back from that horrid start, I think they do actually cement themselves as the third place team there. Now, Toronto, they'll be in the mix as well. They will make the playoffs, make no mistake about it. However, by the way, who's the guy who predicted that they might miss?
I don't know.
It's me if you forgot. It's me if you forgot.
Was it you? I thought that was a follower one.
Mm, oh, it was a follower, but I kind of agreed with him that there's like a 25% chance if Wall doesn't come back.
25? You're saying that you called it when you said there was a
Okay, I
25%
didn't
chance of it?
I didn't call it, but I said there's a possibility, and you said no way. But my reasoning was if Wall like takes a while to come back, like Demko is doing, they don't have that luxury the Canucks have, where they actually have a good team beside him
That's
or
so
good
cool.
goalies. Well, I mean Stolarz is pretty good, but you can see he's not meant for that kind of game load. I don't see it. But Buffalo, I mean, they've got some slow starters. Uh, but I think I could actually see them making the playoffs, and I think that would be really cool to see.
Yeah, I think it would be kind of nice, but it would take away from my annual joke of Happy May, or as Sabres fans, or Happy Playoffs, or as Sabres fans call it May. And I kind of just really like making fun of the Sabres. So
That is a funny one.
let me talk about Montreal for a second, because
All right,
there's been lots of talks about St. Louis being in the hot seat, and I just don't
I
I
don't
don't
buy
get
it.
it. I don't get why that is a discussion. Like they are always going to finish 8 out of 8 teams in the Atlantic, and that's just because of where they are in the rebuild, and that's fine because everybody else in that division wants to make playoffs. Montreal is in the middle of building up their team, and they have a great looking team for the future currently. St. Louis has clearly been great for Caulfield because Caulfield is coming out of his shell a bit
Of
more.
course.
He's probably going to finally get a 30-goal season, and that's pretty cool. I don't know why so many people want St. Louis canned. Like, they're 3-4-1. What more are we expecting out of them to this point?
The progress is just coming too slow. But if you look at who they have on their roster and the ages of guys, I don't think it's too slow. I think this is what you should have expected. They're all. I mean, look at Lane Hudson. You know how I feel about him. He is ridiculously talented. Ridiculous. It's insane. Every single time I watch the puck, I am blown away. However, he's not very smart. And being smart in the NHL takes time. It's going to take probably another 2 or 3 years before this team consistently makes the playoff. I think in the next 2 to 3 years, they might push for a spot as like a wild card. But the thing is, who are they passing? Boston, maybe a given. That team is already kind of falling off. The Leafs, maybe, that team could fall apart at any moment, as I've said. Tampa, it looks like they've kind of bounced back here, so I don't think in 2 years you're going to be passing them. And then the other young teams, Detroit, Buffalo, and the Senators, they're just getting back up, and they have all gotten at least a little bit better so far this season, even if maybe they're not all going to make the playoffs. It's really tough for Montreal, and I think you need to relish in the fact that your guys are growing right now. Do not expect anything more than that. That is going to lead you down a path of, we need to fire St. Louis. He's been a great coach.
Yeah, I don't really get the talks about that because, like, I mean, you look at their defense too, and it's so young right now.
Oh my
And it's been
goodness.
injured. Like Gooley, Hudson, Mayu, Struble. Mayu definitely is not ready for NHL hockey
No.
yet. Um, I don't know what else he's supposed to do. I don't know if he's the coach that leads them to a cup, but for
Yeah.
this stage and where they're at right now, he's a good development coach. He seems like he's going to be one. I don't know why this is a discussion. He should be the coach
Maybe
for now.
he's the Patrick Waugh to the Avalanche. You know what I mean? Like he's the young coach that kind of brandishes them to care about certain things and to teach them certain things, but he's not going to be the guy for when that future comes, I guess. So maybe there's a bit of good thinking there, but you need him right now. What is the point in firing the coach right now? Because
I don't know.
with this roster, even if you go on a miracle run, like you're not making the playoffs. You're
They're
not
not.
winning the cup. So why in the future you have a chance to win the cup? Why would you change that?
I mean, maybe they could make it if it was an all-Canadian division and they got to face Toronto round 1 and Winnipeg round 2. But like, yeah, right now it's just That like looking at the roster, it's going to be so good. They probably have the Atlantic wrapped up in 5 years. They're going to be dominant because all these other teams are contending right now. Montreal is in a perfect spot, I think, if they could just suffer through what's happening now.
Yeah. I actually don't think I'm super high on Montreal's future, just because they kind of have the problem that the Sabres have had for quite a while now, where they have all these really good young prospects, but they don't have any of those intermediary players to kind of teach them something. That's why I think that all the rebuilds that have worked, if you look at like Edmonton, it took a long time, and they kept doing that issue where they only had young players. So much talent, even if the drafting was pretty bad in like the 2010s, 2000s. But they had all this talent, but they didn't have an example. They didn't have young, like older guys to look up to teach them things. I think Montreal, you're maybe seeing a little bit of a mix there, but again, like their only defenseman that's played more than like 2 NHL games is David Savard.
Mike Matheson.
Mike Matheson. Those guys suck. Can I be real? They suck.
Okay.
They're not good.
Matheson isn't great defensively, but he's a fine defenseman, I'd say. Savard was good at one point, so he could be a teacher.
That's true at one point. Like, I guess that kind of counts for. I mean, as much as I hate him, Duncan Keith on the Oilers, he very clearly did rub off very well on Bouchard. Retrospectively, I might add, I hate that guy. But if you're Montreal right now, I think I would trade for a player that's in that like kind of 29, 28, 30-year-old range, just to, have a bit of a standard for the young guys to follow. Because right now, it's young guy has access to every single position, every single place in the lineup, and there's nothing challenging them. It's not a good recipe for success.
I mean, yeah, I think what you're talking about is kind of what Chicago's got going on. Because I mean, they have Polino, they have Hall, and they have those guys. I mean, Bertuzzi, Dickinson, even maybe Pat Maroon. He has cup pedigree.
He is an NHL player.
He won 3 in a row, and then Seth Jones. I mean,
you have to mix in
Alec
the old
Martinez
guys
too. Yeah, they have a good mix of veterans and young guys, and I think you're right on that. That Montreal could probably benefit from adding a guy who still has some life in him, who's okay with not making the playoffs for a couple years.
Yeah, they need the Tyler Toffoli's. I was
actually thinking Toffoli too.
They need the Sean Monahans. I understand why they traded them away, because like, come on, you can get like first round pick. Why not? But come on, like you need those guys to plug in, and not only if you expect to make the playoffs, you need those guys because they're a lot safer bets than whatever random guy from Laval comes up and plays on Suzuki's right wing. I don't know, Emil Heineman. How's that working out? But they're not going to grow if they don't have people to pass, people to challenge them. So I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me sometimes, the way they structure their roster, I guess.
Yeah. Was there any other point? Hang on, I'm gonna pull up your notes app thing. Did we have anything else that we wanted to?
No, I don't think so. And we are running out of time.
We have 5 minutes.
So I think
we barely talked about our own teams this time. So do you want to give a little bit of a preview for what you expect from the Oilers to come in the next week?
Okay, that's a good question.
Who are they playing?
We are playing. You're gonna like this. We are playing the Red Wings,
right?
Columbus. Yeah. We are going on that amazing stretch. We play Columbus, and then we play the Predators again. We're going to destroy them. That's just a given. And then we're going to play the Flames again when they're off the shooting heater they're on now.
Wait, now you're cutting into next podcast time.
I think
the next 3 games.
By next podcast, the Oilers will not have lost a game. That's only 3 games. That's only 3 games.
It is, yeah.
If we are going to actually win the division this year, you need to not fumble those games against Columbus, like we did even last year when we were great. But imagine if we had home ice against the Cats. Just imagine. I don't even want to think about it because that makes me cry. But I'll leave it there.
Wait! I want to talk about the Canucks.
Don't worry. Whoa, calm down, buddy. Whoa. All right. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I don't know when we're recording next week. I don't know if it's going to be Saturday or Sunday, but
One of those times.
Monday we play Carolina, Wednesday we play New Jersey, and then the Saturday game is the one against San Jose. So Carolina, New Jersey, obviously kind of a concerning two games. If we can get one of those, I'm happy. I think we can definitely get both, especially because both are at home too, and we've been good recently. I, of course, really want to win the New Jersey game, as I would. It's the Hughes Bowl, so there's so much reason for me to
I gotta watch
really,
that
really
game. That'll
want
be
that
nice.
game. We normally play Carolina pretty well. I think we beat them both times last year, so we could be good. The San Jose game, I'm terrified for. I'm actually more scared for the San Jose game than for either the Carolina or New Jersey games.
I have a very funny feeling about that game. I don't know. There's something about it.
I think Pedersen's gonna come out of his shell a little bit more on this
Yeah,
homestand. I'm looking forward to it because he does look very good, and I think the points are gonna start piling up now.
let's hope. All right. That was the Pacific Perspectives podcast. Thank you for joining us today, and we will see you guys all next time.